I pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Madam Clerk, would you please call the roll?
Trustee Gray?
Present.
Trustee Cabria?
Present.
Trustee Rogers? Present. Trustee Sweet? Present. Trustee Nancy-Turkey? Present. Trustee Berrigan?
Present.
Mayor Lukich?
Present. Are there any amendments to the agenda? Okay. Next will be recognition, Big Tree Champions. Trustee Sweet will start the presentation.
Welcome to the awards night for the Village of Homer Glen Big Tree Champion Contest, which is the first year for this valuable tree contest. This is an important award that recognizes the need to appreciate and protect the natural environment within the Village of Homer Glen. Champion trees are individual trees that are exceptional examples of their species because of size, age, or rarity. The Village of Homer Glen was founded and incorporated in large part due to the desires of its citizens to preserve the unique and diverse components of the natural environment within the village and take steps to assist in the further protection and beautification of that environment. Through the efforts of the Environment Committee, the village created the Big Tree Champion Contest in 2018. This award recognizes citizens that have helped to identify and preserve the biggest of our mature trees in the village. We have 9 winners in the Big Tree Champion Contest, with several residents winning in different categories. During the awards recognition, we are pleased to have the assistance of Homer Glen Mayor George Yukich, who will present the certificates to the recipients. Pictures will be taken as the certificates are presented. These photos will also be available for viewing on the Homer Glen website. Okay, the first award is to Fred Casali. He has won an award for 5 different trees: bur oak, common buckeye, sycamore, tulip, and wild black cherry. Is Mr. Casali here?
Yes.
Please step up and have a picture taken, and the mayor will give you an award, and there is also something on the back for you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Next is Cassandra Courtwright and family for ash tree. She has a beautiful ash tree that is still living.
What a lot is it? It's got to be one of the
Thank you.
All right, just do a couple and then we go. Okay.
Thank you.
Next is Emily Cunningham for white oak.
Thank you.
Next is Bruce Rogers for a red oak.
Marcus, thank you.
Rod and Terry Schmidt for a silver maple. Weeks, who won 5 awards for a bald cypress, a black walnut, Japanese maple, river birch, and sugar maple.
You gotta be big. Thanks very much. It's nice.
We also have a few people that were unable to attend, but I'd like to mention their names. Leanne Luckett for a hard maple, Roger Ross for eastern cottonwood and a weeping willow, and Margaret Sabo for a shagbark hickory and musclewood tree. Let's give all of our winners a round of applause. We appreciate all the people. Thank you all for attending this evening and showing your support for this important Homer Glen event. Mayor Yukich and village trustees, thank you for your support. A special thank you to the Environment Committee members, especially Joe Therese and Margaret Sabo, who went out and measured each one of those trees. Thank you.
Okay, next is our motion to approve the minutes of May 23rd, 2018 village board meeting. So moved. Trustee Gray. Second. Trustee Varian. Discussion. All in favor? Aye. All opposed? Motion carries. Is there a motion to approve the accounts payable for the period of July 27th, 2018 through August 23rd, 2018? I so move. Trustee Cabrio. Second. Trustee Varian. Discussion. Madam Clerk, could you please call the roll?
Trustee Mansky-Turkey? Aye. Trustee Sweet?
Aye.
Trustee Rogers? Aye. Trustee Gray?
Aye.
Trustee Caprio?
Aye.
Trustee Varian?
Aye. Motion carries. Next is reports and communications from the mayor and other officers. Mayor's report. As a reminder, Parker Road is closed to through traffic at 14000 South Parker for the installation of the new box culvert. Parker Road closed on Monday morning and will reopen to traffic at 5 p.m. on Friday, August 31st. Message boards with this information have been installed in Parker at 143rd and 131st Street. To give drivers advanced warning in the effort to ensure that drivers understand that the road has been closed, the sign street bridge out ahead. Updates will be posted if the schedule should change in any way. For more information, contact the Homer Township Road District at 708-301-0246. Village Hall will be closed for observance of Labor Day. On Monday, September 3rd, we hope you and your family have a happy and safe Labor Day. Normal business hours will resume Tuesday, September 4th. Also want to say that we're in the process of working with 2 developers that are trying to put something up in the village for M&I Homes and Oak Street Capital. As soon as we get it finalized, we will notify the residents. And second, 159th Street is going very well. We've done the changeover, and the water line should be started within the next week and a half. Sewer lines in the next month and a half. So as long as the weather stays good, we'll have it finished up this year. Last, the village has been talking about finishing up the park in the back for a long time. We're doing very well with it. We're starting phase 2 right now, the active court. It costs some money to do this, so we're trying to figure out another way to generate some money to be able to pay for this and do whatever other things that the residents would like us to do. It's hard just living on sales tax right now, because if you've noticed, a lot of businesses aren't coming in, a lot of businesses are going away. Can't afford to lose the sales tax a week, because that's the only thing that we do get. And one thing we never ever want to do is set up a municipal tax. So for the last few years, we have been trying to figure out things that we can do. We have one that's sitting in our lap right now. They're doing a pro forma to see what kind of money it would bring into the village. What we're looking at is a sports complex. Once we get the information from this group, then the board will be informed of the pro forma. We'll look at it. If it's something that would be good for the village, I would like to see if we can get this going in. It would bring in sales tax. It would bring in property tax, which wouldn't really help the village, but it would help the schools. Schools right now, if this came through, there's no impact because there's no kids that come along with it. The business would be directly to help out everything here. We're trying to figure out if it would be worth. The group that is coming before us said that they would have no issue at all building the whole thing, so it wouldn't cost the village anything. But they have one down in Indiana. It's called Grand Park. If you look it up, it's 400 acres. It's all green. It has baseball, it has softball, it has football, it has soccer, it has lacrosse, basketball. It has indoor, 360,000 square foot building for indoor. They worked when they got it started. They have the Indianapolis Colts now from the spring training. They have the Indiana Pacers there in their basketball area. It could bring a lot of money into the village. We would get some hotels, we'd get a lot more restaurants. The only thing that, from the people that we have been discussing this with, as for getting regular commercial in here, it's getting harder and harder to do it. And again, it's just strictly working with sales tax. So we're trying to get something that we have more money than just sales tax coming in. So as soon as we do get the pro forma, we'll sit down as a group and we'll discuss this and see if it's good for the village. If there's any questions that you have, you're more than welcome to call me. My number is online. And with that, we'll turn it over to the trustees. We'll start out with Trustee Cabrio.
I have no report, Mayor.
Thank you, Trustee Cabrio. Trustee Suisse.
Thank you, Mayor. Reporting for the Environment Committee, just a quick reminder that our next stargazing event will take place September 14th from 8 to 10 p.m. at the Trantina Farm, which is located at 15744 West 151st Street. The astronomy and stargazer groups will be highlighting Jupiter, Mars, Saturn, the Milky Way galaxy, and Hercules at that time of year. That concludes my report.
Thank you, Trustee Suisse. Trustee Rogers.
I have no report.
Trustee Bergen.
No report, Mayor.
Trustee Turkey.
I have no report.
Trustee Gray.
Thank you, Mayor. Just wanted to say on behalf of the Public Safety and Services Committee, the school is back in session now, so people can mind their driving, pay attention to the speed limits, and watch for school buses with their signs out, and obviously don't pass them when they are. That concludes my report.
Thank you, Trustee Gray. We'll go to the treasurer.
Thank you, Mayor. I have the Treasurer's Report of Cash and Investments at July 31st. It's the third month of fiscal 2019. It shows the general fund with the cash and investment balance of $5,410,752.97. The special event fund had a balance of $76,061.08. The environment fund had a balance of $89,636.20. Motor fuel tax fund had a balance of $1,935,424.28. The park and recreation fund had a cash balance of $4,080,196.89. The debt service fund had a balance of $3,020,734.45. The capital project fund had a cash and investment balance of $1,029,507.56. And the EAB tree replacement fund had a balance of $356,044.86. And the last fund, the capital project bond fund, had a balance of $14,002,361.11 for a grand total, all funds, $30,722.40. And that concludes my report.
Thank you, Mr. Porter. Village clerk.
No report.
Village attorney.
No report, Your Honor.
Public safety officials.
Nothing to report.
And village manager.
No report.
Next will be public comment. If you could please keep it to 3 minutes, we would appreciate it. There's two of them here. Rich Golden.
Rich and I are here again in regards to a piece of property on Parker. That it's rural residential and they're running a business out of it. And they've also, we have concerns. And one of the concerns is they're running a business. Secondly, they're backfilling the land, which is causing flooding on other pieces of property. They've taken their property. There's two pieces of property. One of them has the electrical in the building. The other one has a well, and they run the electrical from the building over to the other piece of property. I don't know if I have enough, but I printed out, I talked to VJ in the office, and he gave me the code for those tracts of land on Parker. And it states that you can have a farm, it's farmland, is what it's registered as. But you can only have equipment on the land that's been used specifically for what you're farming. And right now, the gentleman on the property, he's running a full-blown landscaping company out of business. He runs trucks in and out of there. They leave at 6:30 in the morning, they come back about 6 o'clock at night. Now, I've been up there before for the same thing. Nothing's changed. We have probably 5 concerns, 6 concerns, and I know that we're supposed to be up here for 3 minutes. How do I get Joe and the mayor and the city attorney, how do I get you guys all to sit in one room instead of me sitting up here for 25 minutes and go over this and get this figured out? I bought my land there to build our retirement home. I'm 3 lots down. Now, if you guys are going to allow this land to become commercial, then I'm leaving. I'm going to go buy land in New Lenox or something. It just doesn't seem like anything's getting done. I've been talking to the city here probably for 1.5 years on and off, and only 3 months seriously with Rich here. What do we do?
Well, we can set up a meeting where we can get the group together.
That includes us, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Well,
So, I would say the best thing to do is we have to call to find out when the lawyer's going to be free, who's going to be free, and I'll make whatever arrangements I have.
I can be there anytime.
Doesn't mean that we're going to be able to do anything for you. We'll listen to what you've got, see what the ordinances say, and we'll see what we can work out for you.
I mean, I do have I have 2 questions though. Is there, who do I talk to, or who's responsible if the assessor has said that it's farmland? It was assessed in 2000 as farmland. I have aerial photographs from 2000 to last year. It's never been farmed. And that's been the whole problem here. It's farmland, supposedly, but nobody's ever farmed it. You talk to Will County, and they say 1 year without farming, it just goes back to residential. Somebody dropped the ball along the way. I mean, there's a piece of property here, 5 acres. 0.68 acres are being farmed, and that's according to Will County. The balance of it is been assessed as commercial land, taxed as commercial land.
So they do have some commercial zoning on the property besides ag?
Well, according to the codes, it's not, can't be. If it's rural, A2 rural residential, you can farm it and that's it. You can sell products off the front of the land, a small building, but only products that come off of the land, that are grown on the land. The gentleman that's there brings in loads of gravel, he's still backfilling the property, he brings in paper bricks, they load those trucks in the morning with that product, they leave, they come back empty.
All right, why don't you do this? Give a list of all the questions that you're looking for. Give us a list. Give us a few days, we'll get something going.
That we can all sit down together.
Yes.
Now, I have another question. Has there ever been a lawsuit between the city and that property or property owner in the past or present?
Not that I know.
Because according to him, he just keeps saying, I know people, and if it gets bad enough, sue me. That's his word. Yeah.
So, all right, just get a list up and we'll get over with you in a couple of days. All your questions, all your concerns, because we're going to have to go outside of our group, especially for the assessor, and find out what's going on.
Yeah. If I give my phone number to somebody, if I come back in tomorrow, you do? Yep. Okay. Yeah. We just,
So you've got everything you need?
it's just getting out of hand. I mean, he's raised the land 6 feet in the back corner, and the people east of them now, which I went finally and contacted them, their land is flooding. It never flooded before.
Like I said, we'll take a look at it and we'll see what we can. We just don't have the power to go in there and tell them to stop. Let's find out exactly what's going on.
You don't have the power?
We have to find out exactly what the issues are. Get over to the assessor.
Joe was going to do that the last few months.
Well, get a list together, and you'll have all 5 lists together, and we'll see what we can do.
All right.
Because I can't answer half your questions right now, because I don't know what the answer is.
Okay.
So we'll give you the opportunity, and I'll make the time. It's not an issue.
One more question. Has nothing to do with this. Before the construction season ends, is there any way to get the guys working on 159 to clean everything up before they shut down for the winter? The last, 2 years? These look like crap.
Well, the road's supposed to be done by the end of this year.
Both sides?
Both sides.
Okay, that's
So this is
different.
what happens.
Yeah, just look like crud for 2 years all through the winter.
And we'll make sure something's done, but it's supposed to be done this year.
Okay.
All right?
So, within a week, somebody will call me?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, don't forget today's Wednesday, so tomorrow, Friday.
Not this week, I mean,
It'll be one day next week, but we'll give you a heads up because we've got to find out lawyers' timeline, Joe's timeline, and as long as I don't have anything in my business, I'll make sure.
I'm sure Rich and I can meet
We
morning.
can come right out, this way we've got everything ready.
Okay.
And then if you want to show us something on site and it's pertinent to what we can do, we'll take a look.
Okay.
All right?
Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
Thanks.
Next would be John Coy. Good to see you, John. It's been a long time.
Oh, you noticed?
Yeah, I noticed.
Anybody know how many times we've had the mosquito guy come around?
So far, well, we got it scheduled for 5 times, but I think it's only been 3 times. But you know what? I have to ask.
That's it. I've talked to people in the subdivision, but I know they're wrong, because I saw it one time.
They have sprayed 3 separate times, and the village budgeted for 4. I anticipate scheduling something before Labor Day weekend, unless something gets really bad, and we get several complaints.
As everybody knows, my subdivision is Genghis Park, and that's a retention area for water, and it's got Long Creek runs through it, and a couple of inlets through it, and with that, the mosquitoes are this year out of control. About a month ago, and I think it's a little longer than a month, Homer Glen truck comes out in our subdivision, dug up a sewer. I don't know what they did to it, but anyway, then they dug a piece of the street up. It looked like there might have been a broken pipe. Then they go across the street, dig another inlet, and And then they do another one. They did 3 of them, but the one where the whole street sunk, they didn't touch that one, which I don't understand why they would do 3 of them that never really seemed to be looking like they were having a problem with them. But they did. When who do you talk to about getting them to go out back out there and re-pour the concrete, put the thing back together right?
You were the highway department?
Is that the highway department? Why would, that's what I don't understand. Because we pay Illinois American Water for the water, even if it's sewer water.
Well, we'd have to find out what it is first, John. It might not have to do with Illinois American Water, but if it is, then they definitely should be doing it, because there should be no charge.
Well, that's why I didn't know whose responsibility it was either, so with that, like you say, and I agree, it's either them or, but who? And why are they waiting,
And that was on Old Cook Road,
No, that's right in our subdivision,
which street?
Venetian Way.
That's your street.
Yes,
Think about it.
yes, I always have to think about it.
I know that,
All right, I read an article in the Horizon. I'm going to read you a paragraph of it. Village Director of Planning and Zoning, DJ Gaddy, noted that while the subdivision that they're wanting to build is denser than surrounding areas of Homer Glen, it still would be considered lower density in most communities. Homer Glen needs to review the standards and possible update on them. Most national standards are much lower. 9 units per acre is normal. And in some places in Chicago, they go up as high as 20 units an acre. Our standards are dated back to 2003 and 2004. I think the market has changed a lot since then. Why are we having people represent us when it comes to these people that want to build a subdivision and they want to go out here with Chicago standards? I mean,
well, how come we should follow standards, John?
well, this is what it, he's pushing here that, they got 20, whatever I read there. You get they double or triple in Chicago standards, but who wants to,
We didn't say we wanted it, we're just
well,
explaining what.
somebody ought to get with this guy and, give him a heads up, Maybe he's the builder's son or something, I don't know. Looking for more lots to build on.
But that's not the case, but you can, in Chicago, you can go up to 20. We would never ever plan on doing anything like that. From my understanding, all he's trying to do is give you a scope of what is out there.
Yeah, but sometimes scopes can turn around the answer for some people.
I think I've got a board up here that would not let that happen, so.
All right. And then you got, just with the picture that was in the paper, I don't know. I didn't look at a plat of survey or anything, so that I don't know. But the picture in the paper don't show any sidewalks either in front of these houses. And now if we're going to put all of this into one subdivision, it's going to really have a lot of traffic, with that, especially with 115 unit rear loaded houses and 113 unit front loaded houses and 55 single family dwellings.
They're working on that.
Pardon?
They're working on that.
It will have sidewalks as well, John. It'll have sidewalks and trails that will connect to other subdivisions to the east and west, to the parks, as well as be able to walk through over to the open area conservation area. So.
Yeah, because to me, you can't take, and have our community all of a sudden be comparable to, other communities that aren't doing very well, and we are not part of those other communities. I don't care what their communities do. We have to be our own community.
That's what we plan on doing.
Let's keep it that way. Thank you.
Thank you, John. That's it for public comments. Next, is there a motion to approve ordinance number 18-036, an ordinance granting a special use permit for a major amendment to the Homer Glen Bell Plaza Plan Units Glen, PUD number 220903. Compliance and amendments of Chapter 220 zoning of the Code of the Village of Homer Glen, located in the C2 Local Business District at the southwest corner of West 143rd Street, South Bell Road, Homer Glen, Illinois. Popular Property Group, LLC, case number HG1822S.
I so move.
Trustee Caprio,
Second.
Trustee Burrian, discussion?
Yes, Mayor, I have some concerns about his signage. I think is he here? Yeah. The ground, you have a multi-tenant ground sign that we have a maximum of 10 feet, and you're requesting 2 at 15 feet, is that correct?
Right. The reason, I think I gave it, I explained the reason behind it, and that is those signs are to allow the buildings in the last phases to have some exposure to the right-of-way, to the street. And also, we have in Lot 5, the building under construction along Bell is a multi-tenant facility, multi-tenant site. And it gives the developer an opportunity to have that multi-tenant building have exposure on that side. But the real reason was to allow the site, the buildings on the interior of the site to have some exposure, because they don't have frontage.
How many tenants do you think will be on those multi?
The one building, I think, Taco Bell is committed as an end cap on the southernmost space of that building. It's unusual that Taco Bell, I guess, goes into a multi-tenant building, but they want to be there. So I think that building has 4 spaces. What's uncertain is, and Phase 1, by the way, is pretty well under construction. Dollar Tree is supposed to open in October, so it's happening pretty quick. I don't know when Phase 2 is going to happen, but Phase 2 would include lots 1 and 2, which are the lots along 143rd Street towards the west, if I got my directions right. And that might be combined to become a single tenant, a multi-tenant building, in which case I'd have to come back anyway. But that's the concept. The concept is to have those tall signs serve unknown tenants on the interior, as well as an opportunity for that multi-tenant building in Lot 5. Now, I don't think the developer wants to build the multi-tenant sign right now on 143rd, because that would be wouldn't be useful to him, because he doesn't have tenants ready for that one. But for the one on Bell, he definitely wants to go ahead and build that one. I don't know if I've answered your question.
Oh, yes, thank you. Exhibit D, which is page 11 in our packet, all those lots, there's 8 lots, and every one of those are a variance for sign allowance. What is this going to look like? I mean, they're always, all of them are asking, almost except for a couple, are asking for more than what they're allotted. When you don't know what's happening yet.
The mayor was talking about bringing retail to Homer Glen, and signage is very important to retail. Those 8 lots are accessed by 2 driveways, one on Bell and one on 143rd.
That's right.
we've received, in our PUD, we're allowing signage on the back sides of the building. Not every tenant is going to take that. But the reason is when you come in, even though you've seen the building off from the street side, the perspective is from the back. So that helps the patron go to the building that he wants to go to. And that's probably why you're referring to all the signage that's in the PUD.
Well, my biggest concern and issue is with the double footage on the Dollar Tree side. I know you said you can measure the individual letters and that'll work, but that's not how we do that. Now, how important is that, because I don't know if people pay attention to the logo, that round logo, because that's throwing things off. Because if you took that out and the way we do a signage, that from 200 plus comes down to about 133. And that way it looks better because if we start doubling the signage, everybody's going to ask for that. We want, it becomes a signing war. Everybody wants bigger.
Dollar Tree has that bump on their building. And frankly, had I realized that your ordinance was so tight, I would have asked for that as a part of the PUD. And it was brought to our attention after we had completed the PUD that Dollar Tree's signage is greater than you allow. I've worked on a lot of Dollar Trees in a lot of communities, and we've never had a problem, frankly. Ordinances are different, and granted, yours isn't wrong, it's your ordinance, right or wrong, but we've always been able to get Dollar Tree what they wanted. And it is part of their architecture.
We just kind of wonder if McDonald's can have turquoise arches in Sedona. They could tweak it a little bit. But that's all my comments I have.
Okay. Are there any other comments from the trustees?
Yes. I agree with what Trustee Sweets was saying about getting into a sign work. And while you kind of just said it's kind of on you that you didn't realize that our ordinance was so strict, our codes were so strict, and you would have asked that up front. And we would have had an opportunity back then to hash this out. I don't like the idea of being pushed to doubling things either at this level. If we're going to go to this level, we need to open up our sign ordinance and open up our codes and take a holistic look at the whole thing. So not only for the square footage of the Dollar Tree sign, but as well as going to monument signs, because we're going to have a lot of signing ordinances, or a lot of signing variances coming before us as 159th Street gets populated. And 15 feet is quickly going to become the new norm. And if that's the case, I think that is much better if it comes from this panel, this board, after we've given a lot of deliberation, a lot of discussion. So I'm not really comfortable with I think there's several things in here I'm not comfortable with. 3 of them are the variances you're asking for, which is I think it's 210 feet per Dollar Tree, 15 feet on the monument, and there was one of them I don't have right now. So that's my issue on those things. Another thing I have in here is that I'm not even sure what we're being asked to approve here, because the Plan Commission recommended for the entire PUD upping the square footage, or the formula from 1.25 to 1.95. So that's not necessarily written into this, but we're being asked to approve what the Plan Commission had said. And the Plan Commission had said, going up to 1.95. As far as the formula right now, it's 1.25 square feet per foot of frontage. So again, these are things that I don't think we should be dictated to either by the Plan Commission or by the developer coming in and asking for a one-off variance that quickly becomes our new norm, and then we're pushed to that level. I I'd feel much more comfortable if we all got to that level after some, some good debate, so.
I agree, that's why it does come here, because we are the finalists.
Right.
So, if you want to,
Well, you had said that at this point, you were not even sure if you were going to be building the second multi-tenant at this point. I know you want the two approved, but you're not even ready for it, so that's...
No, I think, not to be misunderstood, the sign on Bell is intended to be built, and the other ground signs are intended to be built. But since we don't have a clear vision about lots 1 and 2 yet, that one will not be built. It just doesn't make sense to build one on 143rd when a portion of that site isn't being built in. As you can see, 3 buildings are going up fairly quick. Their Dollar Tree is taking the lead in when they want to be open for business, and that's why I'm here.
Sure.
That's why I'm here.
And we do see that they're being built. We do appreciate that, we're having development in the community, certainly. We welcome you with open arms, but like I said, I'm certainly really uncomfortable with this kind of open-ended language that's still floating out there. I'm not really sure if it's part of this this legislative action item that we're being asked to approve.
Yeah,
1.95 is becoming standard
It's
now.
confusing because you're not asking for approval on his signage, you're asking for the approval to do the whole PUD.
PUD, right. So this is going to be anything coming forward in the PUD. So now, if Dollar Tree gets up to, in Dollar Tree, even at 1.95 to 1 foot, they still would need a variance, I understand, because they're nearly double.
I think maybe Kyle can talk to that, but I got the impression that the plan commissioners realize that we have all these tenants coming, and they didn't want to, they thought it was reasonable, and they made a calculation. I don't think Kyle and I were part of that, nor did we understand how they arrived at it. But frankly, from my experience, having 2 square feet per running foot is not that unusual for a retail sign, especially a wall sign, because there's going to be other restrictions. If a tenant is taking a 16-foot width, or 30-foot width, or 20-foot width on a multi-tenant building, he's limited to the facade, and having 2 running feet times 30 is 60 square feet. So on a multi-tenant building, it's not significant. And usually you're held back from the demising walls by some amount. So I think
Right, again, I appreciate that you're giving us what the information is on what a national norm might be, and I do appreciate what the planning commission is saying. I'm just saying that is a decision that's more for this panel, this board, not, and I don't want it foisted upon us, and then all of a sudden that becomes where we're pushed to, without any debate, without any, without our own due diligence. So that's my, kind of take on it.
If you can break this down with what's before us tonight, what's the most important one-time sensitive? Dollar Tree?
absolutely.
Okay. Does Dollar Tree have in any of their stores that you're familiar with the Dollar Tree without the logo above it?
If they go into an existing shopping center where there is no bump, for example, then they'll do something else. But the building is conceived to allow them to have their corporate branding, and that's really what we're talking about.
Okay. Well, I tend to agree with the previous 2 trustees that there was a little bit of a Pandora's box. There's a balance here between wanting to be business friendly and understanding the importance of signage for retail, and setting a precedent that once we do, it's hard to put back in the box. And I think Trustee Gray's point on 159th Street coming is a good one. If we were able to approve, and I don't know, I'm just speaking for myself right now, but if we were able to approve the Dollar Tree tonight minus that logo.
Oh, that's a disaster.
Okay.
I mean, it's how the calculation is made. I don't know if you're all familiar with it, but it's the most simple geometric shape, which would be a rectangle that touches the top, the bottom, and the sides. And if you can envision that on their signage, it leaves a lot of white space. Other ways of calculating it in other towns, I hesitate to say it, is a straight line around the sign. Another town might say the contact area. But the straight line around the sign, I think yields like 130 square feet or 100 square feet, depending on where that line goes. So it's the way you're calculating it, but that's your ordinance. I think you do have control over what tenants will want in the future. I look at this is one of the few signs that we've ever proposed for any tenant that is part of the architecture because of that bump. When O'Reilly's comes in, their sign should be pretty horizontal and boxy, so that your calculation will work pretty simply. And the fact that they have a tree and a circle, contributes to the square footage. So
You just said a few minutes ago that Dollar Tree would have done something different. Like what? Because, I mean, if they did not know, why did they go ahead and do something with a bump like that if they didn't know?
that is their corporate branding. If they were in a shopping center that was vacant and they were coming into the shopping center and they probably, there would be no bump. Or maybe they would ask the developer or the landlord to develop a bump. We've done that too, because that is very important to them.
Mr. Mayor, I have a question for clarification with the attorney. The actual written ordinance does not discuss the Dollar Tree sign at all. The ordinance is written only about the multi-tenant signs, which were removed from the previous ordinance. And that discussion of Dollar Tree was just part of the discussion of the Plan Commission meeting according to the minutes, but it actually is not part of the written ordinance that is attached to the supplement packet.
I don't think that's correct. There were two issues that we were seeking an amendment. One was the 15-foot high ground sign, which we always had on the job project, but when I was before you back earlier in spring, I was told by VJ that it couldn't be voted on because it wasn't discussed at the Plan Commission. And I said, okay, then I'll come back when I have another reason to come back and try to get that approved. That was one, and the second was the Dollar Tree sign. So those are the two issues that I'm before you with. The Plan Commission had made a recommendation for the third item, which is their recommendation to increase the signage per lineal feet of frontage.
And what was the third one?
That was it. That was the
From
third.
1.25 to 1.95. That's what I'm saying, is a PUD is kind of like a shell that holds all this together, and we're being asked to vote on that.
No, it's
And-
only multi-tenant signs in the ordinance. If you read the ordinance, it does not discuss.
No, what it does is it adopts their minutes and their recommendations, and asks that those be put into, that those be the amendment to the PUD.
To the PUD, right? That's the
Yeah,
major
that is
change.
all those.
Right, so that's,
Multi-tenant signs, the Dollar Tree wall sign, and the increase in the sign area. There's 3 items.
right, and those are part of the PUD, and we're being asked to approve a major change to the PUD.
The Dollar Tree discussion is not part of the exhibits to the ordinance,
It's in their minutes, correct?
but it only references exhibit B.
No, it's in their minutes.
I understand that, but I'm saying the written ordinance only references exhibit B.
Do we have approved minutes, or are we still working out draft minutes from the,
No, we're still working on draft minutes of that.
Maybe we should.
yeah, so it's not in, maybe in the draft minutes, but it's not in the final minutes.
The ordinance at the end of the packet is written to include a major amendment to the Homer Glen Bell Plaza PUD. That major amendment was intended to include the multi-tenant signs in addition to the variance for the Dollar Tree. Whether it needs to be spelt out further, more specifically what the major amendment is going to include, that can certainly be done. However, this was the direction I was given in terms of writing an ordinance for a major amendment to a PUD for similar cases in the past.
That's your option. If we don't have all the information
Yes.
before us right now, it's impossible for us to make a decision.
I would move to table this until we have further clarification and until we have further discussions over some of these rather large decision points. So.
And I would second that.
Any other
Well,
discussion?
there's a motion on the floor right now.
Well, yeah, we have to,
Right.
we can go ahead and table it.
Visit tables.
Correct. The tabling, you don't have to go on to that.
Any discussion? So, it's still all in favor? Or do we move the voice?
Why don't you do a vote with that?
Please call the roll.
May I ask a question, please?
Once it's tabled, it's pretty much.
No, it's fine, it's a question. I'm not an attorney, I'm an architect. I deal with drawings, not words. When I was before you last time, the ground signs were taken out because we didn't discuss it at the plan commission. Now, we discussed all those items at the plan commission and you're tabling it. How do I explain that to my client?
The easy way to explain it, the minutes, the ordinance reflects the minutes of the plan commission. It states the plan commission came up with these minutes and they're making these recommendations to the board. Problem is, we don't have those minutes yet. They're not completed. So the village board is not in a position to be able to say, let's look at these minutes and see exactly what they're recommending so that we can go along and prove that or not.
It's more simple than I thought. Then I shouldn't have been here. I shouldn't have been here tonight then, right? The minutes should have been.
The minutes should have been part of the ordinance. They're reflected as Exhibit B of the ordinance, but the minutes themselves are not complete yet. So the ordinance itself may have been premature, or the minutes of the plan commission may be a little delayed. One of the two, or a combination of both.
So if I come back at the next board meeting, the minutes will have been here, right? Been attached.
They have to vote on your planning commission. When will your planning commission vote on your minutes?
Should be September 6th. So if he comes back to the next available board meeting, September 12th, then they should be ready by then.
But it also has to give us time, if they're not going to be approved until September 6th, it also has to give this board time to take a look at it, to justify if they're going to approve it or if they're going to turn it down. Because that's giving you basically 6 days, and we've got to get the lawyer involved, so I would say it would be the second one. I mean, we could do a tentative for the 12th, but,
If we could, decide.
Well, they can have the draft minutes included in the board, meaning obviously update the board that whether they've been approved or not, correct? So you'll have the minutes well in advance.
And the minutes be approved up Thursday, you can go on Friday's packet, like it was.
but I still call them a close, but yeah, that's fine. But then we just have to make sure the minutes get done so they can approve.
Right, but I mean, if they're looking to open in October, we should, like, in the fall, they're going to be signage.
Okay.
So for clarification, what meeting would that be?
It would be September 12th. It still would fall under September 12th. because we have the draft, we would have the final, well, maybe by then we would have the final, but we can get the draft before that, so at least we can go ahead and decide.
Is it fair to ask, there's obvious issues, should there be an alternate plan considered by the developer? And then
I think that the complaint is, or the issue is the tree up at the top, that's adding that much more square footage.
right, so should there be an alternate plan considered for a future meeting if they want to get this thing out of the ground?
He's saying that it's not an option.
Well, if they make the
Sometimes
signage a little bit smaller, because nothing here is made yet, unless this is standard on every single solitary building.
I can't answer the question.
All I'm saying is if there is a chance that you could change what's in front of us right now to downsize that a little bit, because you're still going to be able to see it, you come within a lot more of what is allowed. Doesn't mean that they won't go over it, but we have to tweak it.
That's my question.
I mean, it's
Yeah, I would agree with that. I mean, you should, you know, an old Boy Scout and a planner, so I always come with a backup plan whenever I'm doing anything, to be really honest with you, whether it's, you know, driving somewhere. So I can't imagine that this is the only bullet we had for the gun, that, you know, this is the way Dollar Tree does it across the country, and that we have, I know we don't have, we do have a strict sign ordinance, but I know we don't have the most strict sign ordinance. So this has to have been a road traveled somewhere else. You know, we want to see Dollar Tree here, but you know, one person said to me, "Is Dollar Tree really a destination? That, you know, is it a destination or is it an impulse?" I'm driving by and I see that Dollar Tree sign, so I have to, you know, it keys me to stop there, or is it just like, it just keys me that, okay, that's it? You know, does it really have to be that big? And again, I'm not necessarily against big signs or 15-foot monument signs. I just don't want that. I want that decision-making power to be ours, and to say, we've cognitively thought about this, and this is how we want to go forward. Not that we're going to do it on a one-off here, and then we've got looming large development possibilities along 159th Street, where people are going to be, you know, 15 is going to be the new minimum, and we're going to be pushed above and above and above that. So those are items that I'm thinking about when I see this. So when somebody comes before me and says, I'd like to go from, you know, 1 to 2, that's a doubling. That's a big jump for in any situation. So without a lot of talk.
If I could just make one comment, I certainly sense some frustration. I think an important thing here is a comment you made early on tonight, in that from the outset, maybe you weren't as familiar with our sign ordinances as maybe you would have liked to have been in the beginning. And so I think there's been a little bit on both sides here. I'm confident that we can bring this in for a landing on something that makes everybody happy. Give us a little bit of time. I think we can sit. I think the mayor and I would be happy to sit and talk through this further and make sure that when this comes back before this board, this is a little cleaner. But I just would make the point that, again, using your comments, this has been on both sides a little bit here from the outset. So just bear with us, and this is a project that we want in this town, and we're happy to have in this town. So we will continue working together to get it done.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. We'll get all of you.
We have to vote on the table.
Trustee Gray?
Aye.
Trustee Cabrio?
Aye.
Trustee Rogers?
Aye.
Trustee Tweed? Trustee Varian?
Aye.
Trustee Lancy-Charles? Aye.
Okay. Okay. Is there a motion to approve ordinance number 18-037, an ordinance granting a variance to reduce the required side yard setback for the proposed addition to an existing single-family dwelling from 20 feet to 17 feet? Attachment 1, Table 1B, site structure, bulk requirements for residential districts. Of Chapter 220 zoning. Wait. Mr. Glen, get a little cough. Of the Code of the Village of Homer Glen for certain real property located in the R2 single-family residential district at 17659 South Larkspur Court, Homer Glen, Illinois. Trustee.
I so move.
Second. Okay, that was the exact same.
Much beer.
Trustee Gloria. Discussion. Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Trustee Cabrio?
Aye.
Trustee Speed? Aye. Trustee Rogers? Aye. Trustee Barry?
Aye.
Trustee Nancy? Aye. Trustee Gray?
Aye.
Motion carries. Thank you. You're welcome. Is there a motion to approve ordinance number 18-038, an ordinance amending 83-68 of the code, increasing the number of Class F liquor licenses by one, CCASD Inc., owner Nick Roba, DBA Addie's Craft Beer, 15761 South Powell Road, Homer Glen, Illinois. That's the vote. Gabriel?
Second.
Trustee Rogers, discussion. The reason we are doing this right now is he has just a beer and wine license at his craft beer place. He feels that without having a full liquor license, not everyone likes beer, that he can get his business back on track. So, Madam Clerk, would you please call the roll?
Trustee Gray?
Aye.
Trustee Nancy? Aye. Trustee Barry?
Aye.
Trustee Speed? Aye. Trustee Rogers? Aye. Trustee Cabrio?
Aye. Motion carries. Is there a motion to approve ordinance number 18-039, an ordinance amending 8368 of the Homer Glen Code, increasing the number of Class B liquor licenses issued within the village of Homer Glen? It is understood that the number of Class B liquor licenses, restaurant and bar, will increase by one.
So moved.
Trustee Gray,
Second.
Trustee Trojki, discussion.
See here.
No,
Oh, no, it's fine. I just wanted to throw it out there, you know, I'm hopeful that you're gonna get, you know, your boots back on and get going again, especially with that office building opening up right next to you, bringing in 200 something employees. It'll be a nice shot in the arm for you, so I wish you all the luck.
Thank you for expanding everything is huge. Any other comments?
No, I would just say the old adage is adapt or die, and you guys are doing everything you can to adapt to a changing environment, and I give you a lot of credit, and thank you for sticking and continuing to adapt in Homer.
Okay, Madam Clerk, would you please call the roll?
Trustee Gray?
Aye.
Trustee Cabrio?
Aye.
Trustee Rogers?
Aye.
Trustee Speed? Aye. Trustee Barry?
Aye.
Trustee Nancy? Aye.
Motion carries. Last one for you. Is there a motion to approve ordinance number 18-040, an ordinance assigning an available Class B liquor license to restaurant and bar to CCASD Inc., DBA at Ease Craft Beer Pub at 15761 South Ball Road, Homer Glen, Illinois? So moved.
Second.
Gabriel, Trustee Trojki, discussion. Okay. You got it? Madam Clerk, you want to call the roll?
Trustee Gray?
Aye.
Trustee Cabrio?
Aye.
Trustee Rogers? Aye. Trustee Speed? Aye. Trustee Barry?
Aye.
Trustee Nancy? Aye.
Good luck. We're there to help you if you need it. Next, is there a motion to approve ordinance number 18-041, an ordinance amending 50-4, purchasing approval levels and requirements of the Code of the Village of Homer Glen, Will County, Illinois?
I so moved.
Trustee Squeeze,
Second.
Trustee Trojki, discussion.
This was not what my recollection was of the conversations that were had. My understanding was in the interim until the village manager was hired, that there would be no buying authority on the staff level, anything above 2,000. And if I'm reading this correctly, that's not the case. Am I reading it correctly?
Check my notes because I was under the impression this is what we had discussed.
Yeah, because it's anything over the 2,000, then that's when I have.
Right, so this reads,
Lawyers and myself.
anything over the, John Swears has until 2,000, between 2,000 and 5,000, and then you're after 5,000?
Well, currently, department heads are up to 1,000. I'm up to 2,500, and the village manager had up to 5,000 unless it was professional service, then it went to 10. And anything above that required co-approval with the mayor. So what you have here before you just allows me to fill in as a signer, as a second signer, well, no, actually as a signer on, in the village manager's absence.
Right.
So maybe if you would be more comfortable with having the mayor co-sign on anything over 2,500 and the finance director.
That's what we thought it was too.
Oh, well, we would need to tweak it a little bit. That's currently not the way this reads.
Right.
We just took this, I think it's just the existing policy, just with a substitution. So we would have to tweak that, but that would be fine.
Yeah, I would feel a lot better if it
Okay.
was signatures on it, so it's just the same way we do anything else.
We'll bring it back, but in the meantime, we're gonna administrate at that level. Okay?
That's fine.
It's not, huh?
It's amended tonight.
Yeah, can we just amend
Okay.
it to say that anything over 2,500 has to be signed by both the mayor and John Sawyers?
Okay.
In the absence of a village manager.
Right.
Right. That would revert back to the village manager.
Is that for a motion?
Yeah.
Second.
Okay. Any other discussion on it? Madam Clerk, would you please call the roll?
Does Sharon and
Yeah, that was
Christina?
Sharon's,
Yeah.
that was Sharon's motion.
So are you accepting that amendment?
Yes. Yes.
So yes, who?
Teamwork.
Who's motion?
Sharon and
All
Christina.
right, okay, that's fine. All right, no more discussion, so Madam Clerk, would you please call the roll?
Trustee Gray?
Aye.
Trustee Carpenter?
Aye.
Trustee Rogers?
Aye.
Trustee Speaks?
Aye.
Trustee Garrett?
Aye.
Trustee Nancy Aye.
Motion carries. Is there a motion to approve resolution number 18-005, a resolution adopting the 2018-2021 strategic plan for the village of Homer Glen?
So moved.
Trustee Gray,
I'll second.
trustee Swees, discussion.
I just want to thank Attorney Hanson for some clarifications in the other discussion. Thank you.
Very well.
Any other discussion?
So I just want to know that the legal review was okay, that was why it was, correct.
Okay, there's nothing in there that's like an obligation that the village needs to worry about in terms of a legal obligation. So
This is
it's
just
all
a
good.
clarification. Right.
I would just quickly, and I know something that we talked about in the past, but I would again thank staff for the work on this. This has been a huge task and a lot of added work on staff over the course of the last year plus to bring this thing together as a guiding document to help keep us focused on the things that the community and this board deems important. So I think just to commend the staff on all the extra hours and effort that went into this. And I think it's a very valuable thing for this community moving forward.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, and I am excited for it to get out online because again, this document reflects what most of our community is asking us to do, and that's what we're here to do, is to follow what this is what they asked us to do. We put it out there. They gave us our feedback. We're putting it together, so hopefully we can get to move forward with it. So I'm excited for them to see it and go through it and hopefully get some stuff done.
Also, one comment I was speaking with staff about that Appendix 1, having that removed, that's more of a staff internal document, so.
Okay. Madam Clerk, could you please call the roll?
Trustee Nancy
Aye.
Trustee Rogers?
Aye.
Trustee Speaks?
Aye.
Trustee Garrett?
Aye.
Trustee Gray?
Aye.
Trustee Carpenter?
Aye. Motion carries. Is there a motion to approve ordinance number 18-035, an ordinance granting a special use permit for outdoor seating associated with a permitted restaurant, 220-835, outdoor seating associated with a permitted restaurant in Chapter 220, zoning of the Code of the Village of Homer Glen, the Pelican Community Sports Bar located in the C2 Local Business District at 14807 South Farmers Crossing, Homer Glen, Illinois, and A.I. Glen, case number HG 1821S.
So moved.
Mr. Gabriel,
Second.
Mr. Troy, discussion.
I'm sure, you know, we've all been over there and the parking is really tight over there.
for losing, it looks like just really one parking space too. But I just want to make sure that, because when I look at the plan, and the plans were, kind of rough drawn, but obviously, easy to follow, that I wasn't sure how ADA compliant it was. I couldn't figure out how the wheelchairs were going to get up and around, and I just want to make sure that everything that's built is still ADA compliant, and I'm sure it would be, but I just want
Is
to know.
ADA compliant prior to not changing anything on the front with the sidewalks?
Yeah, the new outside seating, I just want to make sure that still stays ADA.
Yeah, I had the same comment about the 3-foot sidewalk. Right. That is that enough, is that wide enough to still be ADA compliant?
We'll make sure that's done.
Right, I mean, they can easily take another foot from the landscaping, that's to the.
That would be a requirement of the permit.
I figured as much, I just wanted to honor.
Okay, any other discussion? Okay, is there any old business? Oh, we need to, please go.
Trustee Barry?
Aye.
Trustee Caprio?
Aye.
Trustee Gray?
Aye.
Trustee Nancy Turkey?
Aye.
Trustee Rogers?
Aye.
Trustee Spade?
Aye.
Motion carries. Is there any old business? Is there any new business? The next item is executive session. Is there a motion to go into executive session for purpose of discussing personnel?
So moved. I'll second.
Trustee Florian, Trustee Caprio, discussion. Okay, if any action is taken, we will base it on executive. Is there a motion to